Hello, welcome to Sounding Fairy Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Beartooth by Callan Wink. This is a book coming out February 11th, 2025 from Spiegel and Grau. It's a contemporary fiction. I received this book on NetGalley in exchange for a fair review. An absorbing and fascinating look at two men living on the edge of poverty, Beartooth is a raw, poignant, and impactful story that I could not put down. What is it about? Two brothers in dire straits, living on the edge of Yellowstone, agree to a desperate act of survival. In an aging timber house hand-built into the Absaroka Beartooth Mountains, two brothers are struggling to keep up with their debts. They live off-grid on the fringe of Yellowstone, surviving after the death of their father. Thad, the elder, is more capable of engaging with things like the truck registration and the medical bills from their father's fatal illness and the tax lien on their cabin their grandfather built, while Hazen is different, more instinctual, deeply attuned to the natural world. Desperate for money, they are approached by a shadowy out-of-towner with a proposition and agree to attempt a heist of natural resources from Yellowstone, a federal crime. Beartooth is a fast-paced tale set in the grandeur of the American West, apparently. I really love novels about the wilderness and or people living on the edge of it, as well as the American West, which is what drove me to read this book. I was in Wyoming last year in April, actually, though, we really only drove through like the southernmost part of it. I would have loved to have stopped, but our road trip, we were too ambitious and we had way too much driving to do. I really wish we'd taken a couple more days, but it was our first time like leaving the kids with the grandparents, and we didn't want to like tax them too much, and also we missed them. So anyway, I would love to go to Yellowstone one day, and Montana as well, which is where this is set, and I love that area, and I really want to go there. So this is why I read lots of books in this kind of region. Anyway, while this book includes aspects of wilderness survival and kind of like being in the woods, it's more about how some people slip into poverty and the struggles to remain afloat. But there's also a sort of wilderness heist aspect and a mystery at the end that kept the book really, really engaging. Like it's interesting. They say the blurb says it's fast paced, and it is, but it's also kind of languid. It takes its time to kind of work on the characters and kind of let them envelop. The characterization is fantastic. It's primarily about one man learning to live again after hitting rock bottom. It's kind of a later in life coming of age novel. Later in life, I mean, the guy's like 27 or something, but still, One thing I have to say is that a lot of times novels like these, set in rougher areas and focused on men, either fail to include women at all or have them as kind of reductive characters. This book, though, includes two women who have a major impact on both men's lives, but not as girlfriends or daughters. We learn almost as much about Thad's mother, Sacagawea, yes, her name is explained, as we do Thad. I really appreciated that aspect. As much as I thought Thad was an understandable and sympathetic character, it was just nice to not have the same kind of, oh, he has a girlfriend and she's just kind of a steadfast girlfriend there that puts up with this crap. Or, the mother figure is there, but in the distance, all the characters in this book have an interesting characterization in them, and I really kind of appreciated how well-rounded that was. It's the writing in this novel that is so entrancing. It's quite pared down in a sort of Hemingway-esque style. There's a big focus on descriptions of landscapes and comparisons with the natural world to broaden out the characters. A lot of the story is just Thad and Hazen doing everyday stuff around their house, like cutting down trees and making repairs. Like, the heist part really is kind of a minimal part of the story. It's the repercussions from it that kind of cause everything to happen. Yet it's this sort of pared down life, the sheer necessity of how they live, which is entrancing. In a kind of middle class life, we're just kind of so full of technology. It's just like rammed down your throat. You can't do anything without needing an app now. Like, even my kids' ringette schedules are on an app. Like, you just can't avoid it. Like, when I went to Mexico, I mentioned this in my wrap up last week, a couple weeks ago, I deliberately tried to not use my phone that much. Like, I would bring it to take photos, but I wasn't like scrolling on my phone. Like, we were in the lazy river, having fun with our kids, and some woman had her phone in like a waterproof case and was like scrolling through Instagram, and I'm like, why can't you just live in the moment? And I think part of the problem is that we've lost our connection to nature. And it sucks because it seems like the people that have more of a connection to nature often are forced to. It's not like these two guys, like Thad and Hazen, want to live, in the boonies and have like no. They're in a drastic case, but like they have no kind of creature comforts, right? And I think the problem is we've gone too far from that. It's like we're reliant on that. And anyway, this book just really raises these kind of interesting questions. And you can tell I really like a book when it makes me think. And that's what this book does. Yeah, so anyway, there's just something humble about Thad's life as much as some aspects of it are awful. And yeah, it's the stark contrast between him being forced to look like he is versus choosing it. And I think that's kind of the important thing about this book. Anyway, back to the prose. It's absolutely lovely. This is an arc, but I'm going to read a couple lines to you. They may change or be removed in the final. It's just beautifully written, and I was enchanted by it, and I had to just like share this. The boulders were massive, dark and lichen spotted, shot through with quartzite veins. Glacial remnants that cropped up in the grassy slope in a random scattering, as if they were cast there, rugged dice thrown and left by wagering giants. It's just like beautiful language. Overall, this is a novel that made me think, and it made me feel and wonder, as well as being a terse and suspenseful story too. It was just excellent. Like, it was excellent all around, and I really, really enjoyed it. So thank you so much to the publisher for approving me for it. I really appreciate it, and I'm definitely going to buy it. So thank you.